Hello and welcome to this month's Maggie Moment. We often get messages from exasperated parents very concerned about the push down of formalised learning that's happening in many of our Western countries. So what that means is that we're expecting our 4 and 5-year-old children to be doing things that previous generations of 6 and 7-year-olds are doing. So what we're now doing is we've made early years much more academically driven, much more test driven. And many of you know that sometimes even 4-year-olds are getting homework with black stylized sheets of paper and sight words much earlier than ever before. What that does to our children who are not ready is causes enormous angst. What is it doing to children who are ready but who really want to play with other children and do all the things you're meant to be doing in the early years is it makes them very stressed and crabby. So at the moment we can't change the system. And we have to work with the system that we have. So for the parents say, what can I do to support that? I'm going to say, think of stress. Think of your children as coming home more exhausted than ever before because they've been trying so hard to do all the extra work that I think you need to look at what can we do when they come home that does the opposite, that lets them have fun, that lets them get outside and play with other children, that lets them have moments where they don't have to do anything, because they actually need their nervous system to have a break from the pressurised world that we've created for them. So think of those sorts of things. If they're exhausted and they're tired, what sorts of things would you like to do if you're exhausted and you're tired? I am really against homework for children at that age. I don't see reading as homework, so please don't think that is homework. But I'd love us to be able to have more of those engaging moments where we engage with our children in those vital years so they feel loved, valued, special, not just little test monkeys waiting for a system to start testing them before they're probably ready for it. Another thing I'd suggest is too, we know how very vitally important it is for children to develop the basic skills around numeracy and literacy. And I am going to say that starts really early with your children, those sorts of things where we have children who don't even know which way a page turns. So remember how important those things are and where the words go. You can start that quite early. And so all of our children be practicing, this is the hidden codes that I can get into my children before they get into the formalised system that says this is the only way we do it. Those of you who've got boys, you know that statistics show a lot of our boys are not quite as sharp as our girls at those early ages. And you need to look at that and see, once again, if you're in WA, you can't do anything much about it, Western Australia, because 5-year-old is compulsory. Please go and have a really good chat to the teacher as soon as possible to identify some of the aggressive behaviour might be coming from somewhere else where he feels he can't do what's being asked of him. In other states, if you can make a choice around your early years education, please find ones that are still strongly play-based, because they can weave in strong play-based education with rigorous curriculum, and we can still do it that way, which is technically what we used to do it. Please go and have conversations if you're worried, and please do everything you can when they come home to let them have a childhood so we stop stealing it in the name of education. I'm glad I've had that little chat with you all again. You know how passionate I am about our children doing well at school, well at life, but having a childhood that matters. If that's been helpful for you and giving you that makes me feel a little bit better, maybe you might like to share it with some of your friends, or maybe you've got some positive comment if you've been through that experience that may be helpful for another parent. That's all for me today.